All right, it's clicked. We're here. Welcome in, everybody. This is this AFC South show number 253. Post-draft reactions, laughing at mock draft, or not mock draft, but final draft grades, because who actually knows how these people are going to turn out. But my name is Curtis Brown. With me, as always, my resident co-hosts here. Up at the top right, we've got Isaiah, 1/3, third and teal. If you're a Jaguars fan, go check him out. But down at the bottom right, we've got Justin, 1/2 of Unstabled, 1/3 to 1/2 of Kingmaker Sports. If you're a fantasy football guy, go check that out. And he's 1/2 of Tag Team Talk. So busy man. And he's just like, how many kids you got? Too many?
Just too many.
Nah, and then just stays busy. Down at the bottom left, we got Christian, 1/2 of Titans Table for 2. If you're a Titans fan, go check him out. Gentlemen, let's talk about the idiocy behind the idea of an immediate draft grade for guys who have not even done anything except for be selected by their respective teams. So the Jags draft grades being what they are, I'm just going to read these off. This is from ESPN, NBC, CBS, Fox, and NFL Network, or NFL.com, rather. C from ESPN, D+ from NBC, C+ from CBS, D from Fox, and NFL.com gave them a B. In a draft that kind of felt like everybody was reaching. Like after the top 10, it was kind of like, where does everybody else fall? Nobody really knew how anybody was actually ranked. And then it felt this year more than others, the consensus big board or whatever the hell they want to call it was so far out of whack.
Yep.
That it begs the question of, what metrics are the NFL scouts using that the media is not? There's got to be something.
Knowledge. Scouts know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. No, the Jags one's funny because, like, they're like, oh yeah, this guy was projected to go somewhere between 120 and 180. It's like, okay, but that's a really big range.
Yeah.
Like, clearly that tells me there was no consensus. But then you have guys coming out after the draft that are like, yeah, I'm close with some organizations. I've talked to them. I've talked to their scouts. And, whatever. Okay, cool. People claim things. But they're like, yeah, Bjorkacher was going in the 15 to 20 picks. 5 tight ends were drafted in the next 20 picks or 30 picks, whatever it was. And they were all like, none of the tight ends of this class outside of what's his face, the Shadik, I think. He was like the only one that was like a crazy, insane. Stowers as well, but this wasn't a receiving tight end class. This was a contested catch blocking tight end class, and but also too, I mean, just people are like, oh, if you switch Pregnon and Bjorkacher, it's a good draft. I'm like, well, they got both of them. So why do we have to switch them? They got both of them. The grade would be the same either way. But not to mention,
exactly,
Bjorkacher was the 3rd best guard, or second, depending on who you talk to, and he was ranked, but somewhere between 30 and 50, and we got him at 88. So, like, clearly the consensus was not the consensus because Manuel Pregnon, I don't think he missed a single game in college. He transferred a lot, but everybody wanted Pregnon, and then he falls to 88, and it's like, okay. Was there really a consensus? It sounds like there wasn't. And it sounds like teams now more than ever are just going away from it and don't care anymore. You have teams like the Rams finding guys like Puka Nacua in the 5th round. And, Fred Warner was a later round pick. I mean, it's just you're looking for what you want and you just go get it at this point.
Yeah.
But NFL.com, baby.
Yeah, I feel like NFL.com was far and away the most generous to us all. They gave the Texans a B, the Colts a B, and the Titans an A-. So, I mean,
It's one of the most generous I've seen for us personally.
Yeah.
I've seen some C's and some C- for the Titans. I think that's asinine.
The Tate, that Tate pick shocked the world.
That one,
Yeah.
but again, they made so many other great. I mean, especially the fact that Anthony Hill Jr. fell to them because we were too stupid to pick him. Like, dude, I mean, that was amazing. Like that made up.
I was sitting there like, no.
Funny thing, I could show you the text too between me and Andrew when we made that trade back up in to what was it, the second round for Hill. We both said Pregnon. That's what we thought.
Oh, yeah.
We thought it was Pregnon. Like, and I was both disappointed and actually really excited when we didn't take him. I was like, oh,
Hill's gonna be good, man.
Yeah, because Hill's fast. He's violent, man. He's gonna fit that Robert Saleh style defense perfectly to a T, man. I think he's possibly going to be the best player out of this draft for us personally this year. Honestly, he's going to be a guy that can come in and make an effect immediately. So, but yeah, we definitely thought it was Pregnon when they moved up. I said, oh yeah, they're. And that's what we wanted too, man. Yeah, absolutely. So that was actually a steal for Jacksonville in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as they picked him, I was like, okay, like the Bjorkshire pick, don't care anymore. Like,
yeah. Oh, and it was a double-edged sword when we didn't pick him, and then y'all got it. I was like,
yeah, then we didn't pick Hill, and y'all got Hill, and I was like, damn.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
both of those
you can look at.
Yeah,
it's funny how that works out, man. Yeah, yeah. So both of us got really great players, and Mel Kiper, I got to address him. I mean, I know because he's like the standard, right? He gave the Carnell Tate pick like a C or a C plus maybe or something. It's just ridiculous, man. It's the bias towards the small market teams, in my opinion, because I think he had Carnell Tate projected at number 5 to the Giants at some point, which a number of people did actually. So
I saw him a lot mocked it.
Yeah, and if they had gone to the Giants, this Carnell Tate pick to the Giants, I think is really exceptional. It's going to help Jackson Dart. I was waiting to hear Shedeur Sanders' name, again, because he can't just get over it, man. This guy, man, he's not. That's why it's all silly. This goes back to Curtis's point, man. Like, what does everybody really know in the media? Because Mel Kiper thought Jimmy Clausen was also going to be, and I say Mel Kiper because he's been the standard for us in all of our youth and everything.
Yeah,
that was like.
Well, you do it for so long, you're gonna have some L's. You're gonna take some L's every now and then. Like, I don't know,
yeah.
None of us ever know.
Me.
None of us ever know if anybody's going to work out or not.
Okay,
you're back.
There we go. Sorry, guys. Yeah. Furthermore, onward.
Well, that was like, and I'm not saying this at all, Justin. Like, this is not a slight towards you or anything at all. It's whenever I say this, but like at one point, Nussmeier was projected in the first round, and they were talking about that, and they were like, "Oh, he's going to go round 1 or round 2," and then he went round 6 or 5. What was it?
Oh, you know about this year? They were saying that this year.
Yeah, this year.
Oh, I hadn't heard that, but not in a couple years. Like Nussmeier 2 years ago, like he was going to be like one of the top guys. Yeah, Nussmeier was him and Aller last year were supposed to be 2 of the top guys.
I wasn't sure which name we were talking about. Okay, yeah.
And Klubnik was another one that like 2-3 years ago he was going to be the first overall pick, the best guy in the draft, and now look at him.
Aller to the Steelers.
So having an off year. There's some teams, and I'd like to get into one of them from the Titans where I think y'all got a steal, and I'm interested to talk about him a little later on.
Sure. And I think before we move on from I'm sorry, Isaiah, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good, dude.
Before we move on from the point, I think maybe kind of some of the lessons we've learned from this draft, maybe, and maybe you can even say the last couple, is go ahead and get to the league, when you can. Maybe don't.
Oh, yeah.
Because, a guy like Gerard McCoy, that's a guy that was a top 10 pick projected for a while. And look what happened to him. That knee issue is a really big issue. It's not just like kind of a normal knee. And go ahead and get to the league when you can, man, I think is kind of some of the lessons that guys are learning.
Yeah, you think like, oh, I'm going to go back and I'm going to go back and win it next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not a guarantee.
Exactly.
Oregon's quarterback just did it. Dante Moore.
Mm-hmm.
He decided to go back because he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go win it next year." You think? Because you could have been the number 1 or number 2 guy this year. Next year, you might be a round 3 guy if things don't go your way.
Wasn't Carson Beck like projected much higher last year? And he stayed and took all that money in Miami.
Annabella Danger.
No, it was a 3rd round pick.
Yeah, I think so.
To the Cardinals,
which surprised me too. I didn't think
he was.
There was better quarterback prospects than him. But then again, he's been playing college football for 8 years. So
yeah, He better be ready. Yeah, I mean, what I was gonna say though too is like Drew L.R., which as much as I don't know how I really feel about him. I haven't watched him enough to really have an opinion, but I feel like him going to the Steelers was like the perfect setup because he just reminds me of Big Ben with the fact that he's not the most accurate quarterback, but he's 6'5", 230, and has an arm. He can just sling the ball. But yeah, we'll see though. But yeah, I mean, I really think that this year just proved that nobody really knows what they're talking about whenever there's not as many premium draft picks. Like every other year, there's been so many more premium draft picks. This year, it was just like it was premium when it comes to speed and athleticism, but there was like these players weren't the players we've seen in previous years.
Sure.
No,
Absolutely.
there's been so many people I've talked to that like this whole draft was just weird. Like people didn't. The landing spots were horrible this year. And I know in the past we've said that about a few people and stuff like that, but this was like almost everybody, especially in the fantasy community. It's like, what the heck? This does nothing.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like rookie draft's going to be crazy. Like people are already like their top 6 rookie picks. After that, they're getting out of them. They're running away. They're trying to trade away from anything next year.
All right. Let's see. All right, so the Titans draft grades were C+, C, C, B+, and A-, and that's ESPN, NBC, CBS, Fox, NFL, respectively. I don't agree with that assessment. Again, all of this is just kind of.
Could you read those again? I think I only heard the last two with a slight lag there.
Am I fucking up here?
No, you're good.
It could be on my end.
So ESPN gave Tennessee a C+, NBC a C, CBS a C, Fox a B+, and then NFL.com A-.
Okay.
They gave this is the Colts grades. ESPN B+, NBC B+, CBS B-, Fox B, NFL.com B. And then Houston got from ESPN C+, B- from NBC, CBS got a B, Fox C+, NFL B. But realistically, in a draft that felt so top heavy, like really outside of the top 10, top 20, everybody else was kind of subject to change. You know, I felt that way about this draft more than I have in any other years in recent memory, honestly. 2020 maybe being the closest in retrospect, but I don't know. Anybody else want to go in on draft grades real quick?
I'll start. So the Colts getting a B, pretty much consensus across the board. I do agree with that because all the needs going in were edge, linebacker, safety, offensive line, and wide receiver, and they hit every one of those in this draft. So, like Jeff and I have spoken about on the show before, that Chris Ballard, this is like he knows that he's already living on borrowed time. It's probably because of Jim Irsay's passing that they said, hey, we don't want to shake it up, let's do it again. But he hit every position of need. So, but he didn't just hit every position of need. He got a decent player. He didn't get the number one at any position, but he got guys from quality schools. And now when I say quality schools, these are the schools I'm talking about: Georgia, LSU, Kentucky, Oregon, Florida, Ohio State, Oklahoma. Like those teams play other good teams. So these guys are playing other potential NFL players. You're not in like Conference USA, Sam Houston State, playing Stephen F. Austin. You're not doing that. So I agree with the B grade, with that. But what do y'all think?
I like the Caden Curry pick. And I think y'all did well considering you had to wait so long.
That was painful over there.
Yeah, I know it had to be, man. I like the C.J. Allen pick, though, coming from Georgia, man. Proven school year and year after year, for the past however long. I think it's fair, I guess, considering so. But I mean, I'm trying not to be biased here, just looking at it on paper, I like a lot of the names you got, actually.
Well, we don't have to be biased because when you think we're still the AFC South, so we can have each other's back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Later on the show, there's players that each one of your teams drafted that I'm gonna just be googly eyed over when we get there. So no, they don't have to be any bias at all. Curtis. A good player is a good player no matter what team they're on.
I think y'all got a good guy with I love that Caden McDonald pick for Houston, man. I was jealous. Even though that wasn't a real big need for us or anything, I like that guy.
I will say with the Colts, me personally, and I do think that the Titans had the best draft, in my opinion, only because I think they have more instant impact out of this draft because they needed more instant impact out of this draft. That's the only reason I'm saying. Yeah. I think they filled the most spots with players who will get time this year, a considerable time. Yeah. But with the Colts, the one thing that I kind of scratched my head on, but I fully understand, was the C.J. Allen pick over Anthony Hill Jr. I think Anthony Hill Jr. is more NFL ready currently as it stands today, if you were to put them both on the field. But I do think that C.J. Allen is a little bit more athletic, and honestly, he hits harder. I mean, that dude is a freight train in the hole whenever he hits people. And I think he does have a little bit more upside. I don't know that he's going to be the green dot in year 1 or year 2, like Anthony Hill may be able to be. But honestly, I think that was a great pick. The Halsey pick, I like Halsey out of LSU. I hate LSU, but I like Halsey.
I like that too. Yeah.
And then, I mean, overall, the DNs, you got a little bit of athleticism there. The running back, I like Seth McGowan. I thought he went way later than I expected him to.
I was going to ask how Justin felt about that pick, actually. I'm glad you brought that
up.
So
he fell for good reason. He's got some criminal stuff in his background. From what I was reading, a robbery thing. It's like some things that college kids normally don't get. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're Aaron Hernandez, but and that's also a jab at you too, Isaiah. The Florida, yeah. But no, I'm not against the Seth McGowan thing. He's one of those guys that he's gonna be a backup, like a perennial backup. Mm-hmm. At no point is he gonna be a starter or fight for starting positions, especially over Jonathan Taylor. I mean, anybody out there, let's be real, right?
It's a 7th-round pick, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting pretty much best player available at whatever position you need. You need a backup running back? All right. Why not a Seth McGowan who fell for legal issues? Well, you're taking him to Indianapolis. He's not going to have those issues in Indianapolis. He's going out in the country rural area-ish, so those problems are going to go away. But yeah, the what?
The Midwest.
Oh, yeah. I don't think that's very Midwest, but when I think Midwest, I'm thinking like Montana.
Technically, Ohio is like the Midwest.
Just east of Central America.
Central America.
If we're being specific. Midwest just doesn't sound right when I hear it.
Yeah. I like the Colts draft though overall. I mean, I think a B is I think sitting around a B, whether it's B plus, B minus, B is an average. I mean, I think that's solid, and I think that these guys will be good players for the Colts for years to come.
I think
without a first round talent, I think a B is pretty good. Without a first round talent,
if y'all had a first round pick, you may get a better grade too.
Mayhaps.
Sauce Gardner better pay off. That's all I know.
For real.
We took Sauce Gardner in the first round this year.
I don't know if they're grading y'all on a curve because y'all don't have a first round pick, but if you had a first round pick and another player on that draft that was first round caliber, you probably would have a little bit better grade as well, in my opinion.
Well, all I'm saying is if they're grading the Colts on a curve, they should have graded the Jags on a curve because they also didn't have a first round pick, and that did not.
That's true. No, that's true.
But no, I like C.J. Allen. He was somebody I wanted the Texans to grab. Was kind of upset that we let him fall that far. But
tell me about it.
And I'm trying to think. I had my eye on McGowan. I'd taken him several times in the later rounds of the mock drafts, but I think he's going to fit in pretty well with the Colts. Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about our 2026 draft class and who is going to give us some immediate impact. Isaiah was talking about it earlier. The Titans probably drafted the most players who are going to have an immediate impact, but that does imply that the other drafts or the other teams did draft somebody who could have some impact. Maybe not as much or as soon, but we'll save the Titans for last because I feel like that whole draft is going to be included in that.
A good part of it for sure.
At least three-quarters of the draft. But Justin, of the draft class for the Colts, who do you think has the best shot for immediate impact day one? I mean, I imagine that's C.J. Allen, right?
Yeah, C.J. Allen immediately goes in as the starting linebacker there, especially with our departures. It kind of hurt a little bit, but now I'm not so upset about it. You get a proven guy, out of a proven school, good program, Georgia. I mean, ask the Eagles what they think about Georgia defensive players, and then get back with me. 6 foot, 230 pounds. I mean, the guy's built to play linebacker. So according to everything that scouts are saying, he always finds himself in the right position. You know, it worked out for the water boy pretty well. So that's a good sign. He's really good in zone coverage, and he's decent in man coverage. But if my linebacker is not good in man coverage, like I can live with that. But zone, you better be pretty decent. But as far as C.J. Allen, yeah, he goes in as a day one starter, no questions asked. AJ Halsey, depending on how camp goes, Halsey could easily be a starter if he goes out and has a really good camp. Because I mean, he's got to beat out Hunter Waller, Jonathan Owens, and Janae Thomas. Not really any competition for him. He could beat those guys out easy. So he should be playing beside Cam Bynum to start the season. I was a big Hunter Waller fan coming out of Wisconsin last year because he played that hybrid safety linebacker position that Lou Anarumo likes. But nah, give me Halsey all day. 5'11", 215, ran a 40.452. Like the guy's got speed. A great size for a safety. Good speed, run stopper, like hard hitter. So he could use a little work on his man coverage, but he's a safety, so I'm not worried about that. So I like it. I think Halsey and Allen are going to be coming out of camp.
Okay. Isaiah, what Jacksonville drafted players are going to have some immediate impact?
So I think mine, honestly, I think the pick that everyone's going to say is Emmanuel Pregnon. I disagree with that. I do think there's a chance, and there's a good chance that he starts, and I really want him to. He could win that starting right guard spot because he's not going to start at left guard with Ezra Cleveland, who's considered a good guard, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Patrick McCarry, kick rocks, don't care. But the two tight ends that we drafted, I think that Bjorkacher and Koziel or whatever, I do think that both of them are going to slot in and really, because I mean, our GM literally came out and said, yeah, the trend of the league is 12 and 13 personnel, and we're going to be following that trend, and then we showed that in this draft. Not to mention that something that they don't really talk about is Bjorkacher. I saw a funny stat on him. So he only had like 22 receptions last season or something along those lines, and everybody keeps saying he was underutilized. He had like an 82% separation percentage. The dude was always open. They showed so many reels of the quarterback like looking at him and just not throwing the ball to him and like trying to throw 50-50 balls to dudes in the red zone. But I think that those guys are going to come in and get significant snaps early. And both tight ends have a 75% plus contested catch percentage, which means red zone. I mean, because Kazoil is 6'7" and Bjorkacher is 6'6". So I do think red zone production is going to be there as well.
Something I wanted to bring up about the Bjorkacher thing, because it's also being brought up about the Texans' second-round draft pick, Klein. Yeah. George Kittle, his final season in college. Anyone want to take a guess what his college stats were?
18 catches, 260 yards.
Pretty much.
George Kittle. Wow.
It was low. It was not good.
It's like,
was he hurt?
No, he's played the whole season. 22 catches, 4 touchdowns, and like 290 yards or something.
Yeah, almost identical.
It's tight end production in college doesn't necessarily equate to tight end production in the NFL. It just depends the kind of system that they're in. A lot of times you're going to see your best tight ends coming out of a system that's predominantly run blocking or, hyper efficient passing. And they won't get a lot of targets because, they're doing a lot of time blocking. But,
yeah.
All right. As for the Texans, I don't know that Klein has an immediate impact, although he is technically in a battle for tight end two. Yeah. But Caden McDonald out of Ohio State, second-round draft pick, absolutely going to have an immediate impact on this defense. Whether or not he's a starter doesn't matter. With the amount of rotation that the Texans' defensive front goes through every game, everybody pretty much gets 50% of the reps, like an even share, I should say. So McDonald, immediate impact. Rutledge, there's a world where he becomes the center, and then he just takes over for Jake Andrews, and that's the quickest way for him to become an immediate impact. Or he just outright beats Wyatt Teller out of a job. I mean, that's the only other option. The rest of this draft kind of felt more like let's get some depth in here that's younger, that is cheaper, and maybe we can push some of these older guys off the roster in camp. That's kind of what it feels like with Weiwu, Weiwu, the guard / center out of Oklahoma that we drafted in the 4th round. The best last name phonetically I've ever heard. I mean, the fact his name sounds like an ambulance is amazing. And then 5th round selection, Ramsey out of USC. He's a safety. I could see him working his way to being the Jalen Petrie backup. And that's the extent of the immediate impact he's going to have, because it's not like he's going to be able to start over Reed Blankenship or Kalen Balak immediately. But he could definitely be the backup Petrie. And with that, let's turn it over to Christian. Titans.
Oh, you want me to just go? Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Dude, I mean, I'm really enjoying Borgonzi's work the last couple of years. I think that he addressed all of the needs. I was kind of surprised we went linebacker instead of interior offensive line on that trade up in the 2nd round. But I was happy with it. Once I saw that we took Anthony Hill, he's going to be fabulous. I think he has a chance to make an immediate impact. Carnell Tate for sure is going to make an immediate impact. And believe it or not, these guys that we took in the later rounds on the offensive line, like Fernando Carmona and a Pat Coogan, they're going to have a chance to make an immediate impact because as thin as this offensive line is, and some of the free agents that we picked up for the offensive line in particular, a lot of Titans fans and stuff are questioning. It's just a lot of guys that Dable has kind of worked with in the past. But really nobody that just jumps off the page. It's just kind of run-of-the-mill sort of depth guys, so they're definitely going to have a chance to compete. That being Fernando Carmona and Pat Coogan.
Yeah.
And we'll kind of see from there. But yeah, I like everything that they kind of did. I really love the Nick Singleton pick. You might see him in there a little bit. I think Tajay Spears is kind of going to have to figure it out, or we're going to be moving along from that before time's over. Yeah. And we'll just kind of see. But yeah, definitely Carnell Tate. I'd say Anthony Hill and both of our offensive linemen in later rounds on the interior. Those four guys in particular, I think will make an immediate impact because those linemen are definitely going to have a chance to start.
So to your point about Nick Singleton, so he's the guy on your team that I think was the biggest steal for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Absolutely. Singleton he was just a victim. Him and Katron Allen both were just a victim of just poor offensive play, especially after Drew Aller went down. They lost their head coach. I mean, it was crazy over there in Penn State. Mm-hmm. Nick Singleton, 2 years ago, was like the top running back in the class, hands down, mm-hmm. Nobody close. Like set it free. He was the Jordan Love, the Jeremiah Love, all the things, right? So mm-hmm. That kind of talent just doesn't go away. It's just diverted. So Absolutely. For you to get Nick Singleton, because he's a running back, I think in terms of fantasy football, right? I can't help it. So Tajay Spears, you got a new regime in Tennessee. Tajay Spears is not their guy. Tony Pollard is not their guy.
No.
Like those two guys will be gone soon. You will have Nick Singleton on a rookie deal. And if Nick Singleton can find himself, the Nick Singleton of 2024, if he can find himself, you are going to see an amazing starting running back in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
So absolutely. Get ready because you guys
he's very versatile, man. He's strong. He's fast. He can help you in the pass game. He's a powerful, speedy running back, man. He's very underrated, I think, in this draft. And I think, I believed me and Andrew have loved the organization in the last couple of years as far as the front office. And, it's going to take a couple of years to see what the coaching staff and everything that they've hired, see what they do. But this is the first time in a long time, actually, in Tennessee where we have a GM that has his coach. We've had a lot of forced marriages in Tennessee over the last few years. Firing GM, then head coach, then GM, then head coach, and then it's been a back and forth, and it's been a lot of that going on. So I like that we have a GM with his guy in here, and I've really appreciated the last couple drafts, and I believed when they said that they had a plan or a backup plan for whatever happened. I do think Jeremiah Love was the pick if he didn't get taken by Arizona. And then I think they pivoted and went wide receiver, and just kind of the dominoes fell from there. And I think Nick Singleton was one that obviously they had in the back of their mind. If he's there in the later rounds, then we're going to go ahead and snag him. And I think you're right. He could be a big steal here in a couple of years when we look back.
Got a question in the chat for you, Christian.
What does that mean? What I like? What I know it to mean?
Before we just blown pivot into the next topic, which is undrafted free agency, do we have any final comments on the actual drafted players for our teams?
For our teams, I think it was said. Okay. I love the Pat Coogan and Nick Singleton picks in the end, man. I think those are two guys in the later rounds that we might really appreciate that we took.
Heard. All right.
I like the Jeremy Bernard pick for the Browns, though, as far as other teams.
Nah, fuck those other teams. So I'm looking at the undrafted free agency list here for each team, and I want to point out a couple things with the Jaguars. Joey Aguilar, former volunteer quarterback, is undrafted free agent, signed with the Jaguars. And also, they signed Brian Thomas Jr., defensive end.
With a Y.
Yeah. So now they get 2 Brian Thomas Jr.'s.
I don't think it's going to make it any less confusing. It's like, hey, BTJ, get over here. Okay, cool.
No, defense, BTJ, Bray. Come on now. All right. So of the UDFA's Obviously, there's not a lot to talk about. Most of these guys will never make anything more than the practice squad. A couple of them might make the actual roster. Hell, one of them might surprise us one day. I'm sure as hell. I'm pretty positive nobody thought Fred Taylor was going to be anything when he went undrafted, and the same thing with Arian Foster. So, for the Texans, I think we signed Noah Whittingham, I think is his name, the running back out of Oregon. It's not on this list here, but I keep seeing his name attached to our undrafted class. I think if there's anybody in this undrafted class that could actually do anything, it would be him, because realistically, outside of David Montgomery and Woody Marks, who are both over the age of 25, I think Woody Marks is about to turn 26. I just, there's a wide open area for another running back to come in.
Right.
What about you guys?
Well, I guess I'll go ahead and go. I'll give you two names out of the list of guys that we picked up. Tyron Montgomery being one, wide receiver out of John Carroll. Yeah, smaller school, but if you saw the Senior Bowl, he was the best player on the field, arguably. Big guy, big wide receiver. I think he has potential to maybe come in here, especially a place like Tennessee, and get a slot here on the roster and maybe make something. And I like Bishop Fitzgerald, safety out of USC. Those are the two guys that kind of jumped off the page as far as undrafted free agents for us. But definitely have my eye on Tyron Montgomery for sure.
Heard. Justin?
I don't know what the question is. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Undrafted free agents?
Your favorites?
You got any favorites? I'll come
Oh,
back
favorites?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
appreciate it.
I'll come back to you. Isaiah?
Yes.
We touched on the connections there, but anybody in the undrafted class that you're like, this guy could stick around?
Yeah, I really hope that Joey Aguilar ends up being our backup quarterback instead of Nick Mullins, because he's terrible. And honestly, Aguilar, I mean, he was a solid quarterback in college. Not great, not bad, just solid, I do like the Jamari Taylor. Jamari Taylor out of Virginia. I thought there was a chance he went drafted like 6th, 7th round, but he ended up falling out. He is considered like a top, undrafted free agent according to sources that I don't have time to pull. But I do like him. I think DJ Dallas, I think his days are short. I don't really think he's going to be around for very long. I do think that Jamari Taylor can take that role and become our kind of RB4 / like a return man. And then last but not least, it was the safety. Oh, geez. Devin Neal out of Virginia. I do like Devin Neal. He's 6 foot 214. He's a big physical safety. He's not really like a wide open, keep up with anybody no matter how fast they are kind of guy, but he's a decent box safety that can come in and potentially get a 53-man spot, or at least stick around on the practice squad and get a chance down the line.
Heard. All right. Justin, do you have enough time, or do you need me to stall?
No. So the reason why I was like trying to think is because there's nobody special that the Colts got. Like, none of these guys are anybody special. Hell, some of these guys I ain't never heard of before.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of that, but isn't there like 3 linebackers you brought on? I feel like one of them.
Yeah, so a lot of depth, because I'm noticing that this year they went defense heavy. So just in the offseason, they acquired 17 defensive players through draft or free agency, and then only 5 offensive players. So that tells you where they've been leaning. So for them to get in and draft 5 defensive guys, and then also bring in another safety, another linebacker, another defensive lineman, another linebacker, another defensive end, like, they're really trying to beef up this defense for Lou Anarumo, just in case the offense, if they have Daniel Jones issues, they can lean on their defense. Kind of like how, teams like the Texans, who've had just amazing defenses, even when CJ wasn't doing so great, were able to keep them in games. So Houston's giving them the recipe, and now they're trying to bake the cake. You know what I mean? So
I do like the Wes Weeks pickup though. The LSU defensive players typically tend to be pretty good.
Yeah, I don't see how you can go wrong with guys from big schools because they're seeing quality competition.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, like we mentioned at the top of the show, we don't believe that immediate draft grades are any sort of logical thing that anybody should practice. However, once we've got a little bit of a sample size, draft grades kind of make sense. So with that, gentlemen, if you have the list of your 2025 drafted players, let's take a look here and throw some grades down. If you guys are ready and down to clown. I'll lead us off. So
we're grading our own draft?
Our own draft. I think you should probably grade it based on need at the time. Need at the time, impact, and maybe if they had like an astronomical statistical year. You mentioned the highlight of that, but I'll start us off. Jaden Higgins, the top of the second round, pick 34. We needed somebody to kind of complement Nico Collins and in an emergency fill in when he's unavailable. Jaden Higgins did a pretty good job of complementing. He didn't necessarily step all the way up to being a full replacement of Nico Collins. I don't think most people are expecting that immediately anyway out of young wide receivers. But for me, I think he at least raises the floor of the draft class as a whole to a B+. So, and then do you guys just want to do like one team at a time, or you want to go like pick by pick here?
One team at a time is probably the fastest way.
All right. So I'm going to give Higgins a B+. Ursery, I'm going to give him a B- because it's hard to play the offensive line, and they moved him around a lot. I don't think they expected that he was going to be available in the draft. That's why they signed Cam Robinson, and then Cam Robinson got hurt in camp and never saw the field outside of one game because of injury. And then after that, he never saw the field again. So B- for Ursery. I'm going to give Jalen Knoll a C- just based on how poorly they used him. It took him forever to put him in special teams roles. They rarely threw him the ball. When he did, he was doing things. He was doing electric things. The man is fast as hell, and it made no sense why you weren't trying to give him the ball. Jalen Smith, corner out of USC. He did not play but 4 games, so I'm going to probably put a C here because, TBD. Woody Marks, I'm going to give that an A-, not because I think he's the running back of the future, but where you took him at, round 4, and he was the primary bell cow running back for you. Pretty hard to find one of those in round 4. A lot of those guys don't tend to work out. Jaden Reed, a 5th-round selection, safety out of Penn State. He started a few games, also dealt with injury. I'm going to go C+ because when he did play, there was actual impact. He had a couple turnovers. Graham Mertz, F. I don't even know why they drafted him. Keontae Hamilton got hurt in training camp. He's TBD. And then Luke Lachey was practice squad the entire year. I'm going to say F, even though it's the 7th round, and it's not like he was supposed to have a hell of a lot of impact anyway. So altogether, I'm going to give the Texans 2025 draft B-. All right. So who wants to go next?
Not me.
I'll go ahead.
Okay. All right, Andrew. I'm sorry, Christian. Reflexes, man. I'm sorry. See the Titans guy in the bottom.
I'm going to give the Cam Ward pick. I'm going to go B+ at the same. I'm trying not to be biased here, boys, so I'm probably going to go a little low on what I might think. we'll go A minus because you needed a quarterback. I think he is the guy of the future. I think especially he hung in there with a tough schedule and a tough roster, man. And he showed up every week and he did some amazing things. Just obviously wasn't going to do too much with what he had, but he showed up every week. He was a leader. I think he's a leader. I think he's got that in him. And to be able to lead the team as a rookie like he did, not just he was the voice in the locker room and in practice a lot. I think he's the guy. I think they picked the right guy in the first round, first overall. Some may argue that, but I'm gonna give him an A minus. Femi Oladejo, man, I guess I gotta go maybe B minus, C plus in that area because he's a project. I like him a lot, but taking project players that high, a little rough. So we'll go C on that. Actually, I'm trying to do these on the fly, guys. So bear with me. Kevin Winston. I like him a lot, but I got to keep him at about a B because of the injury concerns, and he dealt with that a little bit as well last season. But once he was on the field, he was good. He's great. I think he can be a great player for the Titans going forward as long as he can stay healthy. That's always a major concern for all players, right? It's our best ability is the availability. Chimere Dike, I got to give it an A, man. Pro Bowler. Amazing special teams player. I think he's our special teams guy going forward for the next few years for sure. And Bones Fossil, obviously, man, what an excellent special teams coach, man. Having those two together, I think he's going to be electric for a couple years. I think we're going to have a lot of fun in special teams. I also have to give Gunnar Helm an A minus. I like that pick. I love Gunnar Helm. He's our tight end. This was a good draft for us, boys. I was so happy last year, especially as the season went on, even through a tough year. I like Gunnar Helm a lot. He's our tight end for the future, I think. He's another target for Cam Ward. Reliable target, tight end out of Texas. Love him. Excellent guy, man, as well. Got a good head on his shoulders, and you always love that, which I think actually that goes for all these guys on this list. I think I always appreciate when you don't get a problem in the locker room, like Jerry Sneed and guys like that. I hate having that. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. I can't stand a player who's going to be extracurricular with issues. Alec Aomanor, I'm going to give a B minus. I think he's proven that he could maybe be a solid wide receiver too. I don't think he's ever going to be your guy. Definitely don't think he's a WR1 material, but I think he proved that he could be a solid wide receiver too. So I am going to give that a B minus. I'm going to give Jackson Slater, the offensive guard out of Sacramento State. I'm going to give that a C plus because you just got to see more. I think he has potential to be a starter for a long time coming, but we got to see more. I think he's a gritty guard that you like up there up front, and he provides. He provided a lot of protection. The offensive line, especially some of the younger guys, got a lot better towards the end. Like a Latham and a Jackson Slater and Skoronski's been really good. It was really bad in the first half of the season, but the offensive line kind of started to gel. But I got to see more out of a Jackson Slater before I can really give you a definitive grade on that, to be honest. And Marcus Harris, I'm going to give that a B to B minus as well. You also got to see a little more, but he proved for a 6th-round pick, he proved that he has potential to be our nickel, and that's what we need. And I think they're kind of banking on that this year because I haven't really seen them. We did kind of flip the cornerback room a little bit, but we dropped a few as well. So we'll see. That nickel, I think they're really banking on a Marcus Harris, and he showed a lot of potential last year, man. He was really fun to watch. So I got to give him a B minus, man. And Khalil Mullings, man, just kind of I think he's the former linebacker, right, out of Michigan, turned running back. I like him. I'm a big fan, but I got to say C minus at least, maybe even a D because there's not been much out of that. It's just kind of like what you picked for what was available at the time there. And we didn't have 7th-round picks last year, so that was our last pick was that second 6th rounder. But Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to keep that non-biased, man. That was tough. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it gets that way. All right, Isaiah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just trying to be as objective as possible here. I think what we saw out of Travis Hunter, you like, but realistically, I'd say like maybe a B minus, C plus, just because of what we gave up for him, honestly, and the fact that he only played 7 games is really more of why I'm going there. I think he played well at corner, but I mean, we just didn't really get a lot out of him for how much we gave up. But of course, that's partially due to he only played.
He's going to be a great player, man.
Oh yeah, I've got no doubt he won't be, but just how it sits today. Caleb Ransaw, it's a question mark. He didn't really play at all. Wyatt Millum, question mark, didn't really play at all. That was 88 and 89 last year. Bashal Tootin, I'd say honestly that one's probably a B plus to an A minus for me personally, only because clearly they liked him enough that Travis Etienne's no longer on the team and we didn't feel the need to pay him. But also, too, you saw glimpses where if he doesn't stumble, he's gone for 50, 60 yards. I mean, the dude's got 4.33 speed. He's a solid compact player. He plays good through contact. So just a matter of time before he hits it. I mean, he kind of has to this season, or we gave up ETN for nothing. Jack Kaiser didn't really play at all. So, I mean, kind of question mark. Jalen McLeod was hurt, question mark. Raywan Lane, we saw some plays of him on special teams. I think he was a plus special teamer, but a C plus player whenever he was on the field. He played well enough, but not enough to get enough snaps. Jonah Monheim, honestly, I'd say like a B plus. When he came in and played, he allowed 0 sacks in the 2 or 3 games that he played as a backup for Robert Hainsey. And he's a guy that you could see yourself with long term, which actually his new teammate, Pregnon, they played together the previous season at I think it was USC or UCLA, whatever. USC, I think is where it was. And then LaQuint Allen Jr., I think LaQuint Allen Jr. for a 7th round pick was a B plus to an A minus. One of the best pass blocking running backs in the league right out of the gate, in my opinion. Again, my opinion. You got to have some fucking stones on you to knock over Jeffrey Simmons and then tell him to suck your dick right on top of him. And honestly, whenever he came in and played, he got decent rushes. I mean, he had 23 carries for 94 yards and 10 receptions for 54 yards. So those are pretty solid numbers carrying the football and catching the football. Just didn't get a lot of opportunities because, again, ETN was still the guy. But overall, draft class, I mean, I played probably right now C plus, B minus maybe, but there's just too much unknown for me to really go all in on a grade here just because we had a couple guys that didn't play a single snap due to injury. Caleb Ransaw, Jalen McLeod. We had Wyatt Millum and a couple other guys that didn't really play much because of injury. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. Just kind of a lot of unknown.
Yeah.
Hoping to get more production this year now that everybody's back and healthy.
Ought to do a 2024 draft grade next year, man, or next week, because that's my belief. I think you're 2-3 years in before you get a genuine grade, honestly.
Yeah, before you get the real feel for what they actually are.
Well, some players, like the Colts tight end that they took in the first round last year, don't need any time at all to hit the ground running. Actually, you become elite day one.
He was kicking butts for me all year.
Exactly. That's one Tyler Warren. I don't think anybody could argue with me on this. A plus grade on that one. I mean, Absolutely. He's going to be one of the top tight ends in the league for a handful of years. So the next one, JT Tuamalau. I think I'm saying that right. If I'm not, sorry. Edge rusher.
Attempt to me.
Is our edge rusher. He rotated a lot. We had a lot of talented edge rushers. The past couple drafts, we've gone edge early. So I would have liked to give him better on that just based on talent alone. But because he was in a rotational system, I gave him a B plus on that. Because I gave him the B plus only because I didn't want to take away from his talent and what he contributes. Because when he's in there fresh, he produces. So that's why I gave him a B plus on that. And in round 3, to a guy that I love and still do, Justin Wally, cornerback out of Minnesota. I gave him a B minus only because he got injured in camp. But normally I would have gone C plus because of the lack of production. But there might be some big news with one Mr. Kenny Moore soon, demanding a trade and getting approved to go seek that trade. So for that reason, I gave him a B minus. They had big expectations for him before he got hurt. We'll see what 2026 holds for him. In the 4th round, took Jalen Travis, offensive tackle. I gave him a B because, one, I wasn't crazy about the player. Not that I didn't think that he was good. I just thought like he wasn't the right guy. But he started some games for us, and at 6'8", 340, I mean, the guy's amazing. The guy's big. He was able to step in there as a rookie and start some games for us, and it worked out really well. He showed a lot for me. So for that reason, I gave him a B. Not a B+, not a B-, just a B. And we'll see what happens in 26. Another guy that I really was very happy that we got was DJ Giddens, running back. I gave him a B+ because, yeah, he's a RB2 behind Jonathan Taylor. But listen to what I just said. He's behind Jonathan Taylor. So with that, he's not required to do much. Your offense should run through Jonathan Taylor. When DJ Giddens got in there, he had great command. He had good ball vision. He didn't do anything wrong. So I gave him a B+ for that. So as a running back too, as a backup, I think he's a B+ backup. And then in round 6, another guy that I was googly over in the draft. All of you can attest to this. Riley Leonard, quarterback out of Notre Dame. I gave him a B-. Now the grade would have been lower if he wouldn't have come out and showed well in his opportunities. So after Daniel Jones went down and the Phillip Rivers experiment had taken its turn, they turned to the rookie Riley Leonard, and he came in and he did well for them. So I gave him a B- on that. If he wouldn't have gotten any playing time, I would have just gone like C- on that. But I liked what I saw as a backup. So I'm looking, seeing what he camp if he takes any steps forward. Not that he's going to take over for Daniel Jones. And in the 6th round, defensive tackle Tim Smith. The only reason he saw the field was because of injuries, and even then he was rotating. So he didn't do anything special. I gave him a C, just because, man, he just was a guy. He's just a rotational depth piece. There's nothing special about this guy, but depth at the position was important when you have injuries like that. So round 7 to finish it off, Hunter Waller, somebody that I scouted heavily during the combine. I thought he was a safety. They have him down now as a linebacker. So we talked about this right after the combine. I thought he was a good hybrid player. And then Lou Anarumo drafted him, like, boom, that right there tells me right there. He's going to use him in that hybrid position, that linebacker safety hybrid. Again, got hurt. So because of the injury, we didn't get to actually see what he can do on Sundays. I gave him a B-. I think he's got the right size to be decent as a linebacker. Really, I should make him a C. I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna change Hunter Waller to a C because we never got to see what he can do, and he wasn't like highly touted. So I'm gonna go C on that one. So I guess all in all, my average here would be about a B-, but Tyler Warren saves it with his A+.
Yeah, valid. That should be everybody, right? That's the last one.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, gentlemen, I think that's a good spot to go ahead and wrap it up. Christian, you brought up a good idea. I think we will grade 2024 next week, and then we might even work all the way back until I don't know if anybody's got anybody from like 2018 or not still on the team, but
you could go back to 2012, man. You know what I mean? It'd be fun to do. You got 4 months until freaking football, man. So this is where the off season really starts now. So we get to go enjoy practices if you're lucky enough to attend one and stuff like that. But yeah, other than that, man, we got a long time until football.
Well, with that, gentlemen, I appreciate you coming on this evening. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. If you're a Titans fan, go check out Christian and Andrew over at Titans Table for Two. If you're a Colts fan, go check out Justin and Jeff at Unstabled. If you're a Jaguars fan, go check out Isaiah and the boys over on Third and Teal. And if you're a Texans fan, come check me out at That Real Texas Team Podcast. Without any further ado, be good people. Fuck the Cowboys.
That's right. We can all agree on that.